We've all heard powerful Bible verses that sound encouraging, but have you ever wondered if we're quoting them the way they were meant to be understood? Sometimes a verse we love can take on a totally new meaning once we look at it in its original context. So today, let's look at 3 of the most misunderstood verses in the Bible and uncover what they really mean for our lives. Let's start with Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You've probably seen this on t-shirts, gym walls, and social media captions. It sounds like a motivation slogan. I can achieve anything I want because God's got my back. But that's not what Paul was saying at all. When he wrote this, he was sitting in a prison cell. He wasn't talking about success, he was talking about contentment. Paul was saying, whether I have plenty or nothing, whether I'm free or in chains, I can endure it all because Christ gives me strength. So the real meaning isn't about chasing goals, it's about finding peace in any circumstance, knowing your strength comes from God, not your situation. The second verse is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. This is one of the most quoted verses of all time. It's comforting, and it should be. But we often take it out of its original setting. God wasn't speaking to an individual, he was speaking to an entire nation in exile. The people of Israel had been carried away to Babylon, far from home, and God told them that his plan for them would unfold after 70 years. Most of them wouldn't even live to see it, yet the message was still one of hope, that even in suffering, God's purposes are for good. For us, that means God's plans aren't always quick or easy, but they are always good. His definition of prosper is about spiritual growth and eternal hope, not just earthly comfort. And finally, Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. At first glance, that sounds like everything in life will turn out fine if we just love God. But Paul was writing to believers who were suffering deeply. Many faced persecution, loss, and even death. What he was saying is that even in pain, God is weaving a greater purpose. The good Paul speaks of isn't about everything going our way. It's about being shaped into the image of Christ. So when life hurts, and it feels like nothing good could ever come from it, this verse reminds us, God is still working, and he never wastes our pain. When we read these verses in full context, they become even more powerful. Not because they promise us comfort, but because they promise us purpose. God's word isn't meant to be used like a quote board. It's meant to transform the way we see him and the way we live every day. If you've been holding on to a verse lately, take a moment this week to read the verses around it. See who God was speaking to, what was happening, and why he said what he said. You might find a deeper meaning that strengthens your faith in a brand new way. And I'd love to hear from you. What's a verse you love that you'd like to understand more deeply? Comment it below, and maybe we'll cover it in a future video.